3 U.S. warships, 4,000 Marines right now positioned off Venezuela's coast. The Pentagon says counter-narcotics. Sources say something bigger. AJ is warning that the presidential palace could be hit within days. 2,000-pound bombs ready to fly. Videos flooding social media show Venezuelans waving American flags, begging Trump to liberate their nation. Maduro is now mobilizing millions of militia. Mexico's senators exposing how narco money props up these regimes. 1/3 of Venezuela's population have already fled. The drug pipelines flooding into America start right there in Caracas. Trump said he'll use every element of American power to stop it. The countdown has now begun. The fleet is in position. And what happens next will reshape the hemisphere. So do not miss this. Now, let me ask you something. If the power went out tonight, if stores were empty tomorrow, would you be ready? Now, most people are not. And that's why I always recommend My Patriot Supply. Right now, they've got a special deal on their 3-month emergency food kit. You'll save $100, but only while supplies last. The kit gives you over 2,000 calories a day for 90 days. Real meals, not just freeze-dried mush. I'm talking about breakfast, lunch, dinner, even drinks and snacks. Go to preparewithgary.com. Right now, get prepared and get peace of mind. You'll find that linked down in the description. Now, this just posted 5 hours ago. Venezuela sending 15,000 troops to the border as U.S. warships approach. MSN.com even covering it from Bloomberg. Maduro cities, Rubio's madness, and sends 15,000 troops to the border. Venezuela vowed to reinforce security along its border with Cambodia as President Trump's administration sends warships to the southern Caribbean. President Nicolas Maduro used his weekly television show to confirm he's ordered the deployment of 15,000 well-armed and trained men and women to the states of Zulia and Táchira. He also singled out Trump's top diplomat, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, warning the U.S. move risked becoming a debacle. Now, here we have the press secretary talking about it just a few days ago. U.S. warships being sent to Venezuela. Listen.
And we will see you later.
The 3 U.S. warships that are being sent to Venezuela, and there's 4,000 Marines on board. Are you looking at possibility of boots on the ground there?
What I will say with respect to Venezuela, President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. In Maduro, it is the view of this administration, is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this cartel who has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into the country. And with that, I will leave you all, and we will see you later, if not tomorrow, and I look forward to
Wow, what a way to end a press conference, right? Now, AJ warning that the U.S. is on the verge of declaring war on Venezuela and taking out President Nicolas Maduro, claiming there's a very good chance the presidential palace will be bombed and Maduro's forces wiped out with 2,000-pound explosives.
War? Well, it's not going to be quiet with Mexico and Venezuela. And I'm predicting, on the current trajectory.
Oh, be careful when AJ starts predicting, okay? Ain't that right? Ain't that right? This guy knows. This guy knows for sure what happens when AJ starts predicting. You got to protect the frogs.
That the United States will start striking cartels in Mexico. And the Mexican president says it's an act of war. Well, go ahead and do something. And then Venezuela, very good chance you're going to see Maduro get his ass blown off. Very good chance you're going to see the presidential palace and the rest of it and his people killed with bombs, 2,000-pound bombs.
Now, I want to make a point that several months back, at the beginning of the Trump administration, we were tracking a lot of the movements of the cartel, the language from the White House with respect to drone overflights and attacks directly to the cartels in Mexico. That's already been authorized. Now, taking it to Venezuela is the next level. Checking in here The Maduro regime, Maria Concha Machado, the Maduro regime is a criminal structure that has caused immense harm to our people. It has forced a third of our population to flee, destabilized the entire region, and created a direct threat to U.S. security.
Seeing the right. Maria Corina Machado is here to react. Maria, this is a very interesting time. Something is clearly on the horizon, about to happen. I spoke to a Venezuelan recently who said that the mood in Venezuela is one of silent euphoria. Explain.
Well, thank you very much, Rachel. First and foremost, and on behalf of the Venezuelan people, I want to thank President Trump. I want to thank Vice President Vance, Secretary Rubio, and Secretary Hegseth, because finally we're seeing the right approach with courage and clarity towards a criminal enterprise that has taken over our country, our land, our resources, our institutions, destroying Venezuela, bringing misery to our people, and destabilizing the region in order to harm the United States of America. Venezuela has been turned into a safe haven of all criminal networks and the enemies of the Western Hemisphere. Venezuela has been turned into a satellite of the Iranian regime. And the Maduro regime has opened our land and our resources to the Chinese regime, to the Russian regime, and also to criminal terrorist organizations.
Yeah, well,
but the time has come for change.
Maria.
And that change might be just hours away. U.S. warships approaching Venezuela. Strategic signs or prepping for more? Looking at the recent deployment of U.S. warships in the Caribbean, the U.S. says this is for counter-narcotics operations, while some Venezuelans are hoping it's more focused on regime change. Venezuela's ally, Russia, has even suggested sending long-range drones to the country to put U.S. bases in the region at risk. So, deployed. And let's get this man, David Nino Rodriguez, let's listen to his take about sending the warships to Venezuela.
All their artillery. Folks, this is getting really interesting. We are sending warships down to Venezuela. Now ask yourself why. Well, there is a $50 million bounty on Maduro's head. We know that he's an illegitimate president. We also know China has their hands in Venezuela. Where do you think they're going to be getting all their artillery from? Also, Venezuela, through satellite imagery, has been said to have silos, nuclear silos that could reach America like that. So this is more than just what they're telling you. This has a lot to do with China and even Iran. Iran even has their tentacles into Venezuela. So now Maduro is activating 4,500,000 militia to fight against, I guess, the United States. We're coming into a standoff. It is also reported that we're sending 4,500 troops to accompany the battleships. This is going to keep building and building and building until something pops, folks. I'll be on my YouTube channel talking about it today at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can also watch.
Rock and roll. Check this out. Here's Pam Bondi announcing the $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of the Venezuelan president.
The arrest of Today, the Department of Justice and State Department are announcing a historic $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. To date, the DEA has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates, with nearly 7 tons linked to Maduro himself, which represents a primary source of income for the deadly cartels based in Venezuela and Mexico. Cocaine is often laced with fentanyl, resulting in the loss and destruction of countless American lives. The DOJ has seized over $700 million of Maduro-linked assets, including 2 private jets, 9 vehicles, and more. Yet Maduro's reign of terror continues. He is one of the largest narco traffickers in the world and a threat to our national security. Therefore, we've doubled his reward to $50 million. Under President Trump's leadership, Maduro will not escape justice and he will be held accountable for his despicable crimes. If you have any information to bring this criminal to justice, call 1-202-307-4228 or go online. Today,
yeah, she's not messing around. Here's more from the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, stating he must be extradited to serve his sentence in a U.S. prison.
to face justice.
Venezuela.
This is not a legitimate presidency. This is a narco-terrorist, and he must be brought to America to face justice. And despite our country having seized $700 million of Maduro-related assets, including 2 multi-million-dollar planes, multiple homes, cash, jewelry, racehorses, all connected to him, his reign of terror continues.
But it looks like it may be coming to an end, but he is not going down quietly. Maduro says he has 4.5 million militiamen ready to deploy. On paper, that's 1 in 7 Venezuelans. In reality, broken conscripts, rusty rifles, and a militarized cosplay to prop up a collapsing regime.
Declared earlier this morning. This is breaking news. Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela has just declared that he has mobilized 4.5 million militia in Venezuela in response to the United States sanctions and their threats against him. So Nicolas Maduro just declared earlier this morning that 4.5 million militiamen are armed, activated, and ready as the United States has sent thousands of U.S. troops along the Latin America Ocean Center right around Venezuela. And this is all in an attempt that the United States is trying to bring control over the cartels that are running rampant all throughout Mexico and surrounding Latin America countries, especially since those countries have done little to nothing to combat these efforts against the cartels. And Nicolas Maduro, who has been connected to multiple cartel ties, is now responding with his type of militia, saying that he is ready to not only fight against the United States, but willing to risk 4.5 million militia men in order for him to stay in power.
Wow, things are heating up. We have the U.S. Department of State. This is the reward poster for Maduro. Here it is. $50 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of the leader of the specially designated global terrorist cartel de los Soles, Nicolas Maduro Moros, for narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, conspiracy to use and carry machine guns and destructive devices in furtherance of a drug crime. This is huge. Venezuela, Shadow of Ezra, 2 hours ago, appears to be gearing up for a potential war with the U.S., deploying 15,000 troops to its border as American warships draw near. Washington has branded him as a terrorist and a cartel kingpin. General Mike Flynn weighing in on the matter. Just 60 minutes ago, dear foreign terrorist leader Maduro, your days are seriously numbered. You do not stand a chance against the counter-terrorism forces of the United States. You are responsible for the deaths and maiming of thousands of Americans. We will no longer stand for this. We finally have a leader in the White House who has the courage and the guts to do the right thing. My strongest suggestion is for you to take a vacation with your Syrian buddy Assad and get a one-way ticket to Moscow very soon, like in the next 24 hours. Now, why is what General Flynn's, his words here, why do they matter now? Because just the other day, where was he? He was with the Secretary of Defense at the Pentagon. Now he's posting this 60 minutes ago. What does he know? The people of Venezuela have had enough of your tyranny. They strongly desire peace, liberty, and prosperity, all of which they can have under the duly elected leadership of Maria Corina. And this is more from Pam Bondi, revealing that they are investigating air bridges for trafficking drugs.
Air bridge is a term that is common in law enforcement for how drug traffickers move their drugs from multiple countries, Venezuela, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, to our country. It's called an air bridge. And they pay off government officials, they pay people off, they pay off law enforcement officers in their countries to ignore that and to let them fly undetected. We're looking at all that. We're looking at that in multiple countries. We are not done yet. At President Trump's direction, we will continue to fight until every single cartel boss is behind bars and on American soil and in American prisons for the rest of their lives. Thank you. Air bridge is a term.
Wow. And Pam Bondi is serious. The reward is out. General Flynn is weighing in. U.S. warships are there. It is happening. U.S. sending 3 warships, 4,000 Marines to the Venezuela coast.
Near Venezuela. A naval blockade in the Caribbean is taking shape right now. The United States has escalated its military presence near Venezuela. 3 destroyers have been deployed off the coast. The stated mission, to target drug cartels now labeled as terrorist organizations, including the powerful Tren de Aragua. The response was immediate. Officials in Caracas announced the mobilization of 4.5 million militia fighters. Analysts warn this is the largest military call-up in the country's history. But that's not all. The U.S. has expanded patrols across the southern Caribbean. Naval and air units are intensifying surveillance with a clear message: control the sea lanes and choke the cartels. At the same time, more than 4,500 U.S. Marines and sailors have entered the region as part of the 22nd of March Expeditionary Unit. They bring amphibious assault ships, reconnaissance aircraft, and even a nuclear attack submarine. And pressure is mounting beyond Venezuela. In Panama, the Trump administration has secured a memorandum allowing rotating U.S. troop presence and priority passage through the canal. Mass protests erupted, with critics calling it a disguised takeover. The result? Warships on alert, militias on standby, and the Caribbean on edge. A naval blockade.
Things are heating up, folks. Heating up huge. Oh, my goodness. Here's a Venezuelan. Can be seen flying the U.S. flag in Venezuela. A lot of TikTok videos of the nationals there wanting Trump to liberate Venezuela. And, of course, Amy Klobuchar weighing in with a message to Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. A farmer in New Mexico relied on immigrant workers who are too afraid to do it anymore. And we have a message to Donald Trump. Immigrants don't diminish America. They are America.
Yeah, keep going. President Trump talking about the radical left politicians defending Kilmer Abrego Garcia.
Baltimore. Do you have any comment on this? And why are the Democrats so emotionally attached to this man who beats his wife and is part of a terrorist organization?
Because they think he's going to be good for votes, and I think he's very bad for votes. These people are deranged. He's not good for votes. He beat the hell out of his wife. His wife is afraid to even talk about him. She's been mauled by this animal. And, through a system of liberal courts, he's doing things. But, no, we have that under control. And Pam has got that very much under control. Do you want to comment on it, Pam?
Georgia National Guard out to support ICE as arrests have exploded. 367% increase. Wall Street Apes reporting a senator from Mexico went on Fox and exposed everything. The president of Mexico works for the cartels, funded by money from the cartels. Is not just the president there. There are an entire group of Mexico politicians labeled as narco-politicians. They write here, the senator belongs to the PAN party, which, when they were in government, worked for the cartels, as evidence the conviction of their security minister, Garcia Luna, now imprisoned in New York. Let's listen.
The president of Mexico is furious. She's calling Mexican Senator Lili Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention." Here to discuss is that Mexican Senator Lili Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given, the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect. The Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must, I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
Okay. Listen, Mexico is feeling the heat, and this is not over yet. Next 48 hours could define history. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this is not about regime change. It's about stopping the poison flowing into our communities. Maduro turned Venezuela into a narco state that pumps drugs straight into American neighborhoods. 1/3 of their population fled. The ones staying are waving our flag, begging for freedom. Those warships, they are not for show. 4,000 Marines don't deploy for diplomatic talks. Trump promised to use every element of American power to stop the drug flood. And he meant it. So here's my question for you. Should America wait for more fentanyl deaths or act now to cut off the source? Drop a yes or a no in the comments. Let's continue this conversation. The cartels, the socialists, the narco dictators, they've had their run. Time's up. American strength is back. And while you're here, grab some gear from our merch shop down below. It's linked. Show them you stand with American power projected worldwide. This is Gary Franchi, and that's my take.